kicking out a crazy beat.
So the next book that I ended up reading was, I tried to read The Midwife's Tale by Sam Thomas, which was a mystery taking place in, I want to say, Parliament 1644. Anyway, I think I read maybe about 100 pages, or maybe close to 100 pages, and then I decided to DNF that book. I decided to DNF the book because, it is a story about a midwife. She's going from house to house giving birth and, helping, assisting women with birth. And I think the thing that made me not enjoy that book, I'll let you know this clearly, why I DNF'd the book. I DNF'd the book because the midwife was a wealthy woman. I know, kind of odd, right? But I was hoping that she was much more like a subservient kind of character. A character who was probably an assistant to the midwife, although the midwife did have an assistant that came along. And I say that because I love those kind of characters who are often ignored or looked over, and they have the ability to creep along the plot, creep along the story, to get all the little gossip and detail along the way without being seen, and then being able to put together a mystery. And while I think that was kind of in there, I really just, because of the main character being a woman of a certain wealth, she did have like this snobbish tendency to me, a touch, and that just really turned me off. But at the end of the day, I'm cool with DNF in the book, and to be completely honest, I kind of, from what I read and what, stating the mystery and the different murders, or the two that I actually came across, I kind of knew who the culprit was. Not 100% sure, but... So the next book that I ended up reading, kind of, sort of, and I really was The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. I read 100 pages of that book, and you know what? I was like, back in October, it was just kind of like one of them crazy months for me. But I read 100 pages, and I was like, this is going to be a mess. Like, there was no way that I was going to be able to physically read each and every one of those pages in that book, but I still wanted to get the story, so what I decided to do was just listen to it on the audio, as an audio book, something I hadn't done in a long time, because I'm not really great with audiobooks, I don't think, and I've mentioned this before, but I feel like there's this certain kind of disconnect when it comes to getting information from a book via audio, unless it's like a textbook or something, I suppose. I don't know. At the end of the day, I was just like 3 stars. That disconnect comes in not only the experiencing of the book, but as well as kind of the retention for me. So, it's not as engaging, but I still wanted to get the story, and I did get it, and it was okay. It was just okay. There were very little heroes in that story, but you all are familiar with the Tommyknockers, so it is what it is. All right, so the next book that I picked up was As I Am by, I was going to say Stephen King, As I Am by Elin Harris. I got maybe about 70 pages into that one, and I DNF'd that one as well. I know some of you are probably like, clutching your pearls, but I don't know. Even before I picked it up, I knew that, before I picked it up, I had this kind of instinctual feeling that it was going to kind of read like dated. But Elin Harris writes the Black Gay Experience books. That's kind of not really the short. That's the shortest term for that. But at the end of the day, I've DNF'd it because of 2 reasons. One, I didn't like this book because it switched perspectives chapter by chapter. One between the character Raymond, who is a in the closet gay man working at an entertainment firm, who has his eyes on one of his a senator's son, I think it was. But anyway, it switched between that and the chapters regarding his ex-girlfriend, which was an actress named Nicole. With that being said, I absolutely did not like Nicole's chapters. They bored me to tears. I was sick of her complaining and whining about, her mistrust in men, as well as her experience dating Raymond, and how she found out he was dating, he loved men. But I was just like, go away at the end of the day. She was just kind of, I feel like that those chapters kind of held back a little bit. And so I toyed with the ideal of maybe just, skipping past her chapters and just reading all of Raymond's chapters to get to, the meat of his story. And then I found myself in this odd space of his story was reading like, I don't, given that Elin Harris stories are kind of classic black gay literature, his story, it kind of just read like the ethos of the black gay male experience. You know what I mean? Like, given the book was published in 1984, it was just stuff that, was already at this point spoken of. I think you could say stuff that was already you know, beaten into our conscious, really. You would have, for me, I would have to enjoy that character, his specific journey, to finish reading the book. But at the end of the day, it kind of just read like it covered the same things: the DL lifestyle, the parties and the clubs, kind of, the subject of AIDS. I think there was a time when that was about to come approaching. It just, like I said, it read like the ethos of the black gay male experience in literature. So I was just like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I think people would think that, oh, that's your Bible, you gotta go by that. He's the one, You know how people put like these really high standards on, if you haven't read this author, then you're here, or because you're this person, or you identify as this, then you're supposed to like this. Y'all know I'm not like that. Clearly, I'm not like that. It's either gonna work with me. I don't care what you're talking about. It's either gonna work or it's not, and that was not working for me. I was just like, I'm really not. So I'm currently reading The Strangest Child by Hollinghurst. I do apologize, DD. I'm sorry. I am sorry that I decided to pick this book up. Like I said, I was really in a cleaning phase, trying to get these books read. But I'm hoping that maybe we can try to pick another Hollinghurst book, because I am enjoying this. It is kind of a slow read. I'm almost done with it. It is kind of a slow read, but not really. It's one of those books where you can pick up and put back down, pick up and put back down. And if you really want or intend to get through it, you have to pick it up and read it. You know what I mean? Like, just pick it up and actually sit with it. Have a session with it. But it is a book about a man named Cecil Blance. And the book chronicles not really him, but his sort of legacy through each preceding chapter. So it's split into part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Part 1 is the introduction of him into this, he's a poet, into this wealthy family where he has the eye of the son as well as the daughter, as well as, I want to say, the eldest son, as well as the mother. He's very charismatic and charming, so, as a poet, so they're all kind of drawn to him. And then he ends up dying in the war, which is off page. So the next chapter is the characters from his past gathering into his home, where they're trying to put together a book of his poems, as well as like a biography of his story. And then the next chapter is pushed all the way into the late 60s, where I'm not going to give anything else away. But the point is, I'm past that. I just now passed that part, and I'm really trucking on toward the end. But the point is that it is a story of a group of characters, gay, straight, married, divorced, married again, having affairs, and how all of their lives are touched by this particular charming and eccentric and charismatic character named Cecil Blance. Very great, beautiful writing. I want to say Alan Hollinghurst always has a way, as this is my second reading of him, but a way of really drawing you in, drawing you to the characters. And he's really good to me, I want to say, with writing these very low undercurrent buildings of suspense, even to like I don't know how to put it, but he has a way of drawing you in with suspense of what's going to happen. And the funny thing is that even if it's really mediocre what happens, as he builds you towards this certain climax with some of the characters, you're not disappointed. You're just like, oh, this is great. His books really feel like I want to attribute it to just sipping tea, But I'm hoping I'll be able to finish this book before the end of the week. Actually, I know I am, because now that I'm on third shift, it's going to be quite simple to finish this book. But anyway, with that being said, I still have 2 more books on my tidying up TBR. That was Laura K. Hamilton's Crimson Death, which I think I'm just going to, I don't know, girl. I don't know. But the book behind that is Stephen King's Finders Keepers, which I think is going to get pushed up to the front I'm gonna, you know, bump that one up and put Laurel K. Hamilton down. I can't show them because I'm actually there on here, right here. And I'll be done with that TBR, and I'm gonna move to my next shelf and pick out some of the unread books I have on those particular some of the shelves there, and make another TBR to kind of help me go on to the rest of the year. So that is it, guys. Y'all enjoy yourself. If I had some hair, I would throw it, but enjoy yourself, have fun, and read all the books you want to read. And something else I was gonna say, I'm so confused.